Oh, yeah. What's happening, everybody? Oh, let's back that out. It's another episode again of the Cycleshack Podcast. It's Ivan Rodriguez. We're back. It is, Tuesday? And, June 16th, 11:04 p.m. I stood 2 hours trying to get this sucker running. And right now I'm broadcasting on Anchor.fm. That's great because I'm actually recording this on OBS. So I'm doing this recording feed. I tried going on Facebook Live. It didn't work out. And I'm having what appeared to be an internet issue. It's not an internet issue. It's actually my computer connectivity when I'm connected to Ethernet. It's not my Ethernet cable because I work with my company laptop here at this same station with the same hardwired connection, and it works flawlessly, super fast. But for some reason, my laptop, my personal laptop, ain't working right. Anyway, I'm recording this show on OBS. For everybody watching, this show is going to be recorded and thrown on the YouTube channel, on Twitch, and maybe on Facebook. I'll throw it up if Facebook will accept the video. Welcome back. First off, I got to give props to Anchor.fm, the host platform of the show. If you haven't tried Anchor.fm, what are you waiting for? It's the only way to podcast. It's quick, fast. It's easy. Set up an account on Anchor.fm. Pick a podcast you want to listen to and listen away. Or if you're a content creator and you want to create your own podcast, guess what? You hit the record button. You flap your gums, similar to what I'm doing right now. And away you go on your own podcast. It's that easy. It's that simple. Check them out, Anchor.fm. You heard the commercial right before you got on. And it's the quickest and easiest way to podcast. What are you waiting for? Join the podcast revolution. So, check out the show, the Cycleshack Podcast at gmail.com is the email address, or on Facebook at the Cycleshack Podcast. You can click the link on the Facebook page to go to the webpage. The webpage is not up to date. I got a lot of old crap up there, and I'm possibly going to take it down. Why? I got no time to mess with it at all. Nothing new on there. Just tells you a little bit about the show, and I got some old pictures, some featured bikes, and yeah. So, check out AJ at Armsco Custom Cycles, Totowa, New Jersey. Give you a quick plug, AJ. www.armscocustomcycles.com. ARMSCO customcycles.com. AJ's one of the best non-Harley dealership mechanics out there, so check him out in Totowa, New Jersey. So, the only real bit of motorcycle information I got on this podcast, which this podcast will be very short probably because I'm a little frustrated, a little pooped. I tried to get some more video out of this thing. I'm probably just going to scrap the video. Maybe, I don't know. Let's see how it goes. I'm pre-recording this now, so I might just pop it up. I might pre-record them and just throw them up. So I decided to maybe cut the web page, focus everything on the podcast itself, the audio. The video's maybe not coming along well, so I might just drop that too, but whatever. Let's see how it goes. I don't have much by way of motorcycles. I just wanted to say I read something that Norton Motorcycles is now owned by an Indian company, by an Indian company meaning India. Norton Motorcycles bought out by administration of an Indian-owned company. Norton Motorcycles is now is now an Indian-owned company. British marquee created by James Lansdowne Norton in Birmingham in 1898 has been bought out of administration for 16 million euros. TVS Motor Company in India. All right, I don't have a Norton. I kind of like the way they look. They're cafe racers, but that's the only news I was able to dig up, man. That, and I got the latest edition of Hog Magazine. Gotta love it. Saw a little article in there about turns and twisties, etc. Check it out. So this show, I'm sorry, I said this was podcast number 60. This is actually 61. I'm going to verify that. You see, I'm stumping myself, man. Let me go on the Facebook page real quick. Yeah. That's not what I wanted to go. I got to go to Anchor. I got to go to Anchor and look at my show. Yeah, this is 61. Woo, excuse me. This is 61. This is the problem with having video. If I got to yawn, I can't pull my face to the side and yawn quietly. You won't hear the audio, but you'll see the video now. Yeah, so it's day 100, man. I'm sorry, day 103 of this COVID-19 issue happening in America. The world, I'm sorry. But as far as New York, we've been on lockdown since March 15th was the first day of the lockdown. So apparently this is 101 days, 3 months, 3.5 months, whatever that is. And it's hard times in America, man. I really, really, really am disappointed in, I won't say this country because you can't blame the country can't blame the entire footprint. But I don't know, man. I'm just disappointed. I really, really am. The whole COVID-19 thing put people in a funk big time. And if that's not enough, looking at the news day by day and listening to the governor, give the daily updates, our work environment's changing. Those essential workers that can still work were out there working with paperwork, of course, in case you got stopped by state troopers and YPD. I was one of those. If I did choose to go out in the field, I had to have a special document that allowed me to drive during the lockdown, during the quarantine. When these riots happen, let me back up a little bit. So 1 month goes by, 2 months goes by, and, at the end of the 2 months, it was starting to look very optimistic. The numbers were going down. I got to say, I had good faith in our local government for once. I always say I'm not political, man. I'm not. I know nothing about politics. I do know right from wrong. I can smell bullshit a mile away. That's for sure. When it comes to politicians, it's funky, man. So I don't care about left, right. I don't care about Dem, Republican. It doesn't matter to me. You know why? Behind the scenes, they're all shaking hands and making deals. And we're the ones that wind up fighting each other. Which leads to my next topic, George Floyd. Very, very, very unfortunate and tragic ordeal. Straight up and down. No bullshit. That man did not deserve to die. He died in a very bad way. That officer needs to be brought to justice. And the officers involved need some kind of justice as well. But I got to say that protests turned into riots and looting. That's where I was disappointed. That's where I was disgusted. I sat there and I watched my old neighborhood in the Bronx get torn apart on Facebook Live on this stupid device. I sat there and watched somebody record it as it was happening live. My old street, my old neighborhood, where me and my wife came from, we sat there and watched, and we were like, man, you feel violated. Not one person in that group that we saw, or groups of people, all young kids, going from like 15, 16 to like 22, 23. Maybe some 25, I don't know, but there wasn't a real sensible adult in the group that was trying to talk sense to at least to the guys that I saw doing it on the video. Man, was I disappointed. You know, I get it. What am I talking about? I get the uprising. I get the speaking out. I get the protests even, because it's your right to protest. And not only that, exercise that right. This was wrong. Definitely wrong. Was George Floyd an angel? Maybe not. It might be irrelevant to this because, again, if he was breaking the law, he should have been detained, arrested, and taken in to be charged, not killed. So that's disgusting in itself. But the senseless violence that's happening, the people that are dying over the rioting and looting who are trying to defend their stores or help other people defend stores. There's conveniently bricks and bottles and Molotov cocktails placed in strategically certain areas. Come on, man. Give me a break. You guys can't smell the other agenda going on here? That's what I'm going to probably talk about that people don't like. I'm taking the show and I'm giving it a little twist because this is my platform to speak. I'm disappointed in you, America. I am. And not everybody, but I'm disappointed at those that picked up a brick and threw it through a store window. I'm disappointed at those who incited rioting and looting. That was not the way to go. There were people in the 60s that died fighting for peaceful protesting, fighting oppression. Those people let those men down. Let all of us down. Because it shouldn't have happened that way. But strategically, this came at a time where everybody was locked down for over 60 days. This was a balloon waiting to pop. And again, what happened to George Floyd was so messed up in so many different ways. I, in my opinion, and I can definitely be wrong, I want to say that I really, really, really don't think every issue of every person of color that gets senselessly murdered by a police officer is necessarily a racial thing or a racial issue. Most of the time it may be, but I don't know that. I'm not the judge or the jury. I can only see video footage on TV like everyone else and decide for myself. Again, I know right from wrong. I really don't see it all the time as being a racial thing. Hear me out on this. I don't condone violence in any way. I don't. I'm not a violent person. I don't believe in violence. I fear my maker, which is Jesus Christ. And peacefulness should always reign supreme. And settling things with talking Unfortunately, we live in a world that doesn't happen all the time. I really do think that sometimes police officers tend to let the uniform get in the way of their thinking. What do I mean by that? I'm only speaking from experience. Again, I'm not going to jump to conclusions and judge all men who wear that uniform because they're not all like that. I want to say the majority of them are not like that. You can't blame a whole department. You can't blame all departments for a few bad apples. Same with us in our communities. You can't blame, and you know what? I'm going to talk about my people, the Hispanic. You can't blame the entire Hispanic community for one bad apple, for one bad seed or two bad seeds, etc. You know what I mean? You get the drift. But what this really boils down to, there's never going to be a right. There's always going to be a wrong. This is something that will never, ever go away. It won't. For as many people that are going to try to talk peace and say, we got to settle this peacefully. For as many people that are going to say, hey, you got to thank God first. Love your fellow man. We got to end this. There's going to be just as many people on the other side of that fence saying, nah, screw that. And that brick gets tossed. That gun gets fired. That bottle gets thrown. Because the bottom line, folks, is we live in a world where men love to hate. I've said it before. I say it again. It's in mankind's nature from birth. I posted something on Facebook on this. Sean Whalen. 100% right. And even before seeing that video footage of Sean making that statement, it's something I've always known. Mankind is very rough around the edges from birth. That's putting it gently. So, even with upbringing, it's instilled in us as people, as human beings. And so it comes to be that when we get older and we're grown and we know right from wrong, that's when the change has to happen up here. I'm not 110% committed, admittingly, to religion. I'm trying. I definitely try. I do read my passages. When church was open, I was going to church. I say was because of the COVID-19 thing. My wife and I, we go together. We believe. And we were all taught that we're all the same. There is no color. There is no boundary. There is no race. Jesus is supposed to love us all the same. So why as a people, do we just screw that up? We screw it up big time. It's unfortunate, but mankind loves to hate. Our politicians, they're no help. Again, I don't condone violence at all, and there's no buts about it. I'm not going to say I don't condone violence, but no. You should always stand up for what you believe for. There's other ways to hurt other than physical violence. You want to protest something, you want to protest someone, they own businesses, you stop shopping at their businesses and you advocate for other people. Hey, don't buy this. This person believes in that. Don't shop there. Do that. And other ways that don't lead to physical altercations, right? But to do what's been done throughout every major city in the country. Man, that's not good. That's not good. Because we did exactly what was wanted of us to do. I'm going to say us, even though I didn't do it. I didn't do it, but I'm going to include myself in there because it's human. It's human nature to do stuff like that, and it shouldn't be. The media, they're even worse. You know what's messed up about Channel 7, Channel 5, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, is that they have to compete with this. They have to compete with the Twitter, with the Facebook Live, with the Instagram Live. How do you compete with that when a reporter has to go out and report for Fox News? There's only maybe a handful of reporters that can do that. Same thing for MSNBC. But everybody in the world has one of these. And almost everybody has an account that they can hit live and go, look what I'm showing. And it'll go viral before the 6 o'clock news comes out. How does a news network compete with that? They can't. So what do? Twist the facts. Twist the facts to make the story more interesting, to make the story more juicy. Yet the media is not held accountable for instigating and inciting. And then as it's happening, they'll report it. Hey, we're here live. Look at what's going on. We're bringing it to you live. After the damage is done, they're filming it and recording it and showing you as it's happening. As the damage is happening. We got to change, man. We got to change. One random act of kindness at a time. One good deed at a time. Other than that, it ain't going to happen. And it's one thing that the end of this, during this whole lockdown, every day, even in the beginning, my main goal, my main function was to try to hold things down up here for myself, for my family, for my wife. I saw panic in their eyes. And my goal was, got to get out there every day. Got to beat people to the supermarket. I got to beat people to Sam's Club. Got to get the toilet paper. Got to get that toilet paper. And I went out there and I got that toilet paper. Because I wanted to survive. I wanted my family to survive. And I wanted to make sure we had what we needed during this whole thing. So I was one of those people out there, binge buying, and, only because other people were doing it and it wasn't going to be available. So I had to get it while I had it. And every week we lived week to week making sure we had everything we needed because we didn't know if supplies were going to end. We didn't know where this was going. There was that fear there. I did everything in my heart and everything I could to keep things going. And it was going. It went. And here we are 100 days later. We're still doing it. But it's winding down. There's toilet paper on the shelves now. And at the end of all this, to see what the outcome was, what set everybody off with the George Floyd incident, how things became, it really sunk into me, and it really is making me think the way this world is going to change very rapidly. And I'm talking within the next 5 to 10 years. I'll still, God willing, be alive to see it, yeah. And what I'm worried about is what's going to happen within the next 20 to 30 years. God willing, I'm still alive. But my children, my little guys, what they have to grow up and see. my grandkids, what are they going to have to deal with? This world's become a crazy and sick world, man. I'm not going to say it's become. Well, it's become, we're already there. It's sad, but it's truth. Unfortunately. How do you change people's minds? This is something that's going to keep going and going and going and going. You can try to talk sense into people. You can try to convince people, no, this ain't the way. Do it this way. But there's always going to be that same amount of people that are going to say, screw him, don't listen to him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Grab that brick, throw it through the window. Show it. You're oppressed. Show it. This is the way you do it. There's going to be people that are going to incite that and instigate that. And again, this ain't a racial thing. It's not. Because it's going to happen. It can happen to any community. It can happen to any race. But it's happening to the human race. Because people were rioting all over the world. And looting all over. They showed every major city in this country in the United States, and it was on fire. Pretty much. They showed footage of London and the UK. People were protesting. That's how far this news made it, man. Overseas, they were protesting and looting and rioting. Wow. And again, disappointed on all fronts. What I was going to come and talk about as well was the way this coronavirus, this COVID-19, all of a sudden overnight made news, and it rapidly hit our people. And I'm not trying to make light of this, and I'm not trying to make sense of it. I'm not trying to make it seem like it's very lighthearted and we didn't, you don't know what to believe. But our government told us that this was an epidemic. It was an outbreak. We got to quarantine, folks. We got to quarantine. Get to your homes. Stay in your homes. No one's coming out. We're going to put a curfew. Well, and then right away, the media, one freaking person on the media is, well, we got to be careful. Things are going to be, people are going to start binge buying and things are going to fly off the shelves. There you had it. It took one person on the news media to say it. It happened. See what the power of the media does? Because there was no shortage of anything. Everything was available, but because people started buying in mass quantities, because they thought, let me get it now, because in 2 or 3 days, we're not going to have it. Boom. But if everybody bought normally the way they would, there'd be plenty of everything. Things didn't shut down instantly. What pisses me off is what happened to swine flu, H1N1, all those other strains of flu that are also considered coronaviruses, by the way. I was doing research the first week of the quarantine. Statistics. I want to know what H1N1, how many people died from the regular flu last year and the year before that, from 2010 till now. I want to know how many people died of regular flu. H1N1, swine flu, all that, bird flu, all that, those different types of flus that were a big deal, but we were never quarantined for. The numbers were high on those. But do you know, and I, with my own eyes, saw the numbers were very high for all of those. Not as high as the coronavirus, the COVID-19 now, but they were up there. Within 2 days, from me seeing them with my own eyes, they were pulled off the website. And they put a little disclaimer saying, due to a correction in our statistical numbers, whatever, these statistics have been pulled to determine their accuracy, whatever, etc. That happened because people started probably bombarding their servers researching this stuff. They were like, wait a minute, let's not let these people know that just as many people died last year with the flu from all this. Granted, This is probably the worst. But don't sit there and tell me that it wasn't an epidemic with H1N1, swine flu, bird flu. You just didn't hear of it because, again, the media wasn't the way it is today. So it looks like Uncle Sam and local governments tried to get ahead of this and say, there's benefit here. There is an epidemic. There is an outbreak. But let's try something here. There you go. There goes Ivan being a conspiracy theorist. I don't think this was purposely done. That's not what I'm saying. I also want to know, what are we doing to hold China accountable for this? Because every major outbreak like this, what was it? Statistically, it was out of the 16 or 17, out of the 22 outbreaks, 16 or 17 of them always started in China. So what's up? What's going on? Why does this keep happening? Our local government, I was impressed with from day one. Our local governor, who I don't really care for. I don't like him. Never liked him. But he gained me when this whole coronavirus thing started. And he was going good up until about a week ago, that he opened his mouth and he got cocky and arrogant because the numbers were good, and he started just spitting diarrhea out of the mouth and sounded like a buffoon. I said, here we go. There's that politician again that we knew before all this started. So again, they convinced an entire country, maybe the world did, but I know in America here, the entire country was convinced to stay home. I know most people in New York did. That's scary power. It was peaceful. But look at how everybody complied. Maybe it was a good thing that they did, yeah, right? Or was it? I don't know. I don't know what to believe. I've seen all the data I can see on TV with all the stuff that they give you, because I watched it every day, day after day after day. Even I missed today's. I missed today's daily briefing on the coronavirus. You don't know what to believe. You don't. I don't believe our politicians. I certainly don't believe our government. Again, I'm anti-government for protesting. I would protest a lot of things, but I'm not advocating violence in any way. So I just want to correct that. But again, this was just my thoughts. This was just my feelings. This is my platform to let it out. Tell me what you think. The Cycleshack Podcast at gmail.com. Or throw it up on Facebook on the Facebook page. Hope everybody's staying safe. We're getting through this. It's done, hopefully. Phase 3 of 4 is coming up. Hey, I had dinner at a restaurant for my wife's birthday. Okay? It was outdoors, but that was a good sign of things getting somewhat normal. You hate to hear the statement now because it's become upsetting and sickening. The new normal. So we're going to be doing what China and Japan did for years. Walk around with our faces covered with masks like this. Everywhere we go. Everywhere we go, we're going to have to stock up on masks and hand sanitizer. Something that they told us wasn't good for you to use. Just wash your hands and you're fine. But now hand sanitizer is the big savior. Again, check me out, the Cycleshack Podcast at gmail.com or at the Cycleshack Podcast on Facebook. My name is Ivan Rodriguez. Thanks for listening. See you next time.